Welcome to Talkin' Shit with Sean. Today we're going to go talk shit with my good friend, Vietnam veteran, and certified badass Steve Hassna. Now, if Steve hears you call him a badass, he's going to tell you to shut the fuck up. I'm not a badass, which to me makes him even more of a badass. In March of 1967, Steve went to Vietnam as a combat paratrooper with the 101st Airborne C Company 2nd 327 1st Brigade. Steve is a motorcycle enthusiast and enjoys things that go pew-pew, things that go and sitting on his back porch watching butterflies and shit. Steve's got a heart of gold. Also, don't fuck with Steve. Now, during the war, because he's not a big guy, Steve volunteered to be a tunnel rat. What that means is that he would go into underground enemy tunnels by himself with just a handgun and a flashlight to hunt Viet Cong. He said one time a tunnel led into a large underground cavern and he noticed something strange about the walls, and when he shined his light on it, he discovered it was covered in big-ass tarantula-looking fucking spiders. Now, I would not want to end up in a fucking Vietnamese spider cave, but I would want to be hunted in a tunnel by young Steve even fucking less. Steve received the Purple Heart when a 105 artillery short round blew up the banyan tree behind which he was firing from, blew him 15 feet from his position, and left a piece of shrapnel in his left arm. Being left-handed, Steve had to return fire with his right arm in a firefight that lasted 36 fucking hours. After Vietnam, the Army made Steve a drill sergeant in basic training, which was something of a waste of talent because he wanted to teach how to be successful and survive combat, not how to fucking march and make your bed. Quickly, Steve became disenchanted at the realization he was helping to groom young men to be killed in the meat grinder of war. Steve returned home and became part of the underground economy. He could not stomach contributing taxes, which would be used to make more fucking bombs. Fortunately, he found the Vietnam veterans against the war, and by marching and demonstrating was able to relieve some of his angst and rage in a productive way. Like so many, Steve suffered the effects of trauma. During the Civil War, they called it soldier's heart. World War I was shell-shocked. World War II and Korea was battle fatigue. But after Vietnam, the government refused to acknowledge it because doing so would mean admitting you just fucked up an entire generation. Steve went to the VA for help and was denied and humiliated by them and was left to figure shit out on his own. In 1980, and after approximately 100,000 veteran suicides, the American Psychiatric Association finally recognized and gave name to PTSD. PTSD is like a fucking ball of string in your chest that's too big to ever fucking cough out. You can only pull out one strand at a time and offer it to the world in some beneficial way. Steve has done radio shows, written articles, and has lectured at schools for 42 years to reduce his ball of string. Steve says that you have to recognize that you went through some trauma and that it's not just going to go away. So instead of fighting it, examine it and do something productive with it. On top of everything, Steve has had 8 catastrophic motorcycle crashes and is a widower twice, yet his heart remains open and kind. Steve made it, and so can we.